Welcome to Whiskey Cigars Football. I'm Dave. This is George.
Cheers.
We are going to talk more about other sports today, I think.
Yeah.
We think we know about other sports as well, although we may not, right? But let's start with our Philadelphia 76ers.
76ers.
That's correct. Sixers have now won 6 straight. They are a game and a half above Brooklyn. 6 games left to play. For those of you who don't know, there's only 72-game NBA season this year.
Yeah.
So I feel really good about where they are. If you finish with the number 1 seed, you avoid the Brooklyn-Milwaukee semifinal, which we all assume is going to happen.
That's going to happen.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to happen. They'll be there. I mean, unless we fall out of first, but yeah.
Yeah, but the Sixers would, I believe, right now would play the Heat in the semis, and we're assuming everybody wins their first round, right? Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Heat have had a lot of injuries, but yeah, I mean, they are probably the most talented team. The Knicks are playing pretty well right now. I mean, you never know who you could end up there. It depends on this.
I don't know 4 or 5 where, like, can anybody pass the Heat right now? I don't think so, right?
Oh, no, the Heat are down.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, so I should have looked that up before I started this segment, but I did not.
Anyway,
I'm projecting.
You don't have good information.
No, I have zero information. But I feel really good about the Sixers. And I feel like I think that was their last major road trip of the year. I think they have a small little road trip, but
yep.
I think of their last 6, they have 4 at home, 2 on the road.
The Heat's the only team they're really playing that has any.
They have no, I would say, big contenders left.
Nope.
And most of these teams at the bottom are just losing because they want a better draft pick. They don't care.
Well, I mean, there's play-ins this year, remember? So 10 teams technically have a chance of the playoffs.
For those of you who don't know, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 are going to have that play-in game thing. Yeah. But I feel really good about where the Sixers are. I'm very excited for them to get into the playoffs. I think their coach last year underperformed like you can't believe. I think their health is probably the best it's been all year, and I think that was their plan all along, to be ready to go at the end of the year. But I will defer to my genius friend over here and get his thoughts.
So genius. That's the nicest thing you ever said about me. Mm-hmm. I feel like they've made some great strides under Doc, like you said. I think Daryl Morey did some nice work in the offseason before the season started to kind of shape the team.
Ask him who said the Sixers were going to hire Daryl Morey. Ask him. Ask him.
But my concern was, I liked the George Hill as a backup point guard off the bench. I thought that was a nice move.
I loved it too.
I still think at the end of the game you need somebody else besides Embiid, a guard that can score for you. And Ben's not that guy. I don't think Tobias Harris is that guy.
He's not. To your point, though, he's not a guard, right? So he's not going to create his own shot.
Somebody to your point. The ball, somebody you can put the ball in their hand. But those are their 3 best players, and both those players make $30+ million a year.
All 3.
Embiid does, but Embiid earns every penny of it.
Oh, without a doubt.
So that's part of the issue there. When you start playing good teams, and that they have multiple good players, like Simmons, he's
not going to create his own shot. No argument there.
He's disappeared in the playoffs. The other night he had 5 points. Like, you can't have 5 points. No one's asking you to score 20+ points. No one's asking you to be Steph Curry. But you have to be willing to take a 10, 12, 15-foot jump shot.
Right.
You have to be willing to open up the floor a little bit for Joel Embiid. Because if you have to guard Harden, Durant, and Irving, and you want to put out your best defensive team, and you throw out Thibault and Simmons, you're playing 3-on-5 on offense. And those guys are just going to double down on Embiid. They're going to double down, they're going to double down, they're going to double down. And they're going to just run. And as much as they may not play defense, they're going to outscore you. Because Thibault averages 3 points, and Ben is averaging, 14, 15 points at the most. Like, that's my concern this year. My concern.
Who's the best defensive team out of the Bucks, Nets, and Philly?
I would give us the Sixers are the best. The Bucks are a good defensive team as well. The Nets are not.
Then the Nets are not a good defensive
the
team.
Nets
they're not even interested in playing defense.
The Nets is first one to 130. Is the way they play. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
But defense matters in the playoffs. You would agree there.
Defense matters, but so does scoring in the half court. And are you able to score in the half court? Are you able if right now you ask
who has
me,
the best half court scoring player in the NBA right now?
Well, we have one of them.
Yeah, who's the best?
But the Nets have three.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We'll
The
see.
Bucks have three.
We have the best, though. Would you agree there?
I think he is one of the top 3 to 4 guys. Yes.
Yeah, I think in the Eastern Conference, Joel Embiid is the best half court scorer in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, that's as much as he gets to the foul line, but when you're playing that half court and you want him on that block, that means other guys have to hit open shots. Yeah. So who are those guys? You're in lineup.
Well,
Seth Curry's not playing D. If at the end of the game you got to play Danny Green and George Hill, think about that as a championship level team that's playing 32, 33-year-old Danny Green and 33, 34-year-old George Hill in your lineup. And listen,
but the Nets are going to play the 34-year-old Blake Griffin.
They're not. I mean, if they're
who
playing
likes a shell of himself, by the way. He's terrible. I watched him the other night. He was awful.
But they're going to probably play, if they play the Sixers, DeAndre Jordan, just to size up with Embiid. And DeAndre Jordan's not the player that he was. But
DeAndre Jordan cannot play Embiid.
He can't, and that's obviously the Sixers' advantage.
Yeah.
But then they're going to play Irvin, and if Harden is healthy and Durant is healthy, and that's the thing with the Nets. Are they healthy? If their whole team is healthy, and then you got
I think they're probably
good.
They're
healthy. You got a really good shooter in Joe Harris. So you got 4 guys that can score the ball.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to argue Danny Green, one of the all-time greatest playoff performers in NBA history.
Let's
how about that? Right, he's going to argue with me.
Yeah, I'm going to argue that.
He's not Robert Horry, but he's close.
That's an outrageous.
He's close.
He's like Robert Horry if you're at the discount store, the discount rack.
Seth Curry is a fantastic shooter. They added another great shooter in George Hill. I've been disappointed with George Hill.
George Hill is a career 37% three-point shooter.
Whatever.
That's a solid.
Whatever. He's a solid player.
36 is the average. So I don't know. Let's not call. I like the George Hill edition, but let's not call.
But I've been underwhelmed by George Hill. I agree. I thought he would be much player, but he hasn't played all year.
Yeah.
So he looks like he hasn't played all year.
I agree. I just I have concerns, and we've texted back and forth, and my biggest.
He's right. I never admit when he's right, but he's right. I thought George Hill would make a bigger impact than he has.
Why are you worried about George Hill? Worry about Ben Simmons. Worry about Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons is going to be what he wants to be. The one thing that he does not understand is Ben Simmons opens up the floor for everyone. And when he was out, the Sixers lost 4 in a row.
I understand.
That's with Joel Embiid. Let me take this another step. When Ben Simmons went out last year against Boston, they got swept. They didn't win a game when Ben Simmons was out. So for all the things that Ben Simmons does wrong, he's probably the top 1 or 2 defenders in the NBA. So the Sixers cannot win when he doesn't play. They can't. They can't win.
Well,
and he's also the best ball handler and distributor on the team by far. There's no one.
I'm not going to argue
Yeah.
any of that. I'm not saying that Ben Simmons isn't a good ball player. I'm not saying that Ben Simmons isn't a great defensive player. I'm not saying that the team is. Of course, they're better with Ben Simmons in a lot of. But they also didn't have Tobias Harris for a lot of those games either.
True.
And they played very good teams during.
Yes, with a very limited lineup. They did,
and they've played garbage the last 6 games.
Agreed.
So there's a lot of differences there. Now the issue is that Ben Simmons. Hey, if you were paying Ben Simmons $15 million a year and he was a role player and he played great defense and he passed the ball around, you'd be like, oh my God, this is the greatest guy in the world. But and if there was no salary cap or anything else, you could sign whoever you want. Same type of thing. I don't care what you pay guys. But you're paying him $30+ million and you're paying Tobias Harris $36 million. So they need to be, the way the team is constructed right now, your second and third best player. Your second best player can't shoot the ball 5 times a game. He doesn't have to shoot it 20 times a game. I'm not asking him
No, I
to
agree.
be Magic
He's got to
Johnson.
shoot 10, 12
I'm
shots
not
a game. I
He's
agree.
got to be
I agree.
more aggressive.
No, don't disagree.
Like, you can win all the regular season games that you want. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks have done that the last couple of years. You got to win in the playoffs. The playoffs going to be half court. And last year he didn't play, but the 2 years before that he disappeared in the playoffs. They were bringing T.J. McConnell in. He needs to step up his game. He needs.
I have no argument there.
Because you know why? You know why?
Why is that?
Why? Because he has the ability to do it. He has the ability. I see one more summer videotape of him shooting and making jumpers, and then him not shooting the regular season. I'm gonna destroy YouTube.
Ben Simmons makes a lot of jumpers in practice.
He's the greatest. He's 2 out of 3 games. He came there at like the end of the game, right in the quarter, hit a 3, pulled up and hit a 3.
That's what he does.
All he has to do is
player.
shoot that.
Great player.
Just be 28-30% from 3.
All
Just
right.
make people respect you. Not all right. This isn't all right.
No, I didn't mean
Because
that
the
was all
Sixers,
right. I meant all right.
No, we're
about
not
the
moving on.
Sixers. We're not moving.
We're not moving on. We're not goddamn moving on. Because we have a chance here. We have a chance here.
All
and
right.
we need to take advantage of this chance.
Okay.
And then you're just accepting of mediocrity.
I'm not accepting of
You're
mediocrity.
accepting of mediocrity. You think it's okay if they just make Eastern Conference Finals.
I do not. I will be extremely disappointed.
Let's go Sixers.
I will be extremely disappointed if they do not win the Eastern Conference. I just said it. I just said it. I
Good.
just made a statement.
Good. And
Okay.
let's go, Ben. We need you.
Yes.
We
do need you.
Ben, you're our only hope. It's Princess Leia, I think.
Yes.
Paraphrasing?
Ben is the Princess Leia of the Philadelphia 76ers.
No, he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, he's the Princess Leia.
You're the Princess Leia. Tell him that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Ben is the Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right. Thank you all. And
Time out.
No. Okay, we were going to talk about the Phillies next time, but we'll do now. Oh, yes.
We're gonna talk about the Phillies
now. And what are we drinking?
We are drinking Slugger from Sly Fox.
Sly Fox.
Little Pilsner.
Pilsner.
I've been enjoying the Pilsners a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, summer.
It's summer. You got to lighten up a little bit.
Little Pilsners.
You know, the heavy IPAs. I don't know if you want to do that. Summer's coming up.
I love a good Citra Pilsner.
The belly gets a little bigger. You gotta go to CI.
Is that what's happening? My head's swelling.
He's like Barry Bonds. You go.
I'm taking the steroids. I'm just not working out.
We got to be in CI on AC next week. So, but George doesn't care. He's focused. Focused, dialed in.
Dialed in. Phillies real quick. We got Phillies real quick.
Yes. What happened today for the Phillies?
4 in a row.
4 in a row.
Zach Wheeler, complete
Swept
game
the Braves, who were in first place in the
swept the
Central
Brewers.
Division. Oh, I said Brewers. Excuse me.
They were both, at one time in Milwaukee.
They both begin with a B.
Sure.
So that works.
Braves were in Milwaukee. Old school.
Yes, they are.
My thing to the Phillies here, and I think you have an opportunity because this was touted as one of the best divisions in baseball, and it still may be. It's very early in the season, but you're in first place in this division. I think you got to go out
with major flaws.
You got to go out and you got to get
with no center fielder.
You got to get a center fielder. You have to go and trade and get a center fielder. You have to do whatever it takes to get that.
Right. You need Segura back. You need a center fielder.
And then you can.
I know McCutch has had a great week. I don't believe it's sustainable. I think you need 1 or 2 outfielders.
But you need one. You need one right now.
And we're gonna have to grab a pitcher. Chase Anderson pitched last night. He didn't get out of the 4th inning again.
You have to get. Yeah,
we have
to get another starting pitcher.
We have no 5th starter unless you believe in double V. I do not.
Nope.
But
I've seen that. I've seen that movie 6 years in a row, and it's still not good. But I think you do have the opportunity now to stay afloat. I think you get that other bat in that lineup. I think your top 3 starters are good enough. Your bullpen by no means is the greatest bullpen, but it is night and day better than last year's bullpen.
Agreed.
I mean, you look at the 4-game winning streak.
He's getting very serious.
4 2/3 from Chase Anderson. Your bullpen came in, was a little shaky, but luckily you had the lead and got.
Girardi's not having a great season either, by the way.
Nola 6.
Do you think Girardi's having a great season?
I don't. You know what? I think,
he forgot the lineup card. He pulled Chase Anderson.
That's the bench coach's job.
Yeah, whatever. He pulled Chase Anderson 2 out of their 3 starts in the 4th inning, in my mind, for no reason.
Well, that's a
And I will
confidence,
say this as well, because it's 162 games, so every time you pull them out, that's another inning on the bullpen. And you think it doesn't matter until you remember the Phillies' September collapses the last 2 years, right?
I mean, the September collapse, and wasn't just the bullpen. It was, your starting pitching as well. And I think you have Nola, Wheeler, and Eflin, and I think you have a pretty good
Nola
solid.
is Mr. Non-September.
He is, and Wheeler last year as well did not pitch very
Yeah.
well. But it was a tough season. It was a 60-game season.
No. Yeah,
I will give Girardi the time. Girardi hasn't even. He's at like half a season as a Phillies manager.
I agree.
Like, do you know what I mean? The amount of games he's managed is a little over half a season. So there's still some feeling out with that.
This was supposed to be 2 segments. It's now 1. But go ahead.
So negative. So negative. I think, I think he gets a little more confident with that. I would like to see him change the lineup a little bit. We've talked about that a little bit, you and I, and mix some things up. But I think right now the big thing is getting another bat, getting that center. I mean, center fielder is just it's nothing. You're getting zero. It's a black hole. You're getting nothing out of that.
They need a center fielder, and it needs to be a platoon in left with Miller and
that's
Kutch.
fine. And then I think, to your point,
Yes.
as we get closer, pitching is a lot more difficult to get. I think as we get closer to the trade deadline, you hang around, you go get that pitcher. I agree as well. You go get that starting pitcher.
Right.
And you,
I don't know if you need 5, but you need 4.
You need a 4. I agree. You need another starter. You can patchwork your 5th, because your 5th starter's not pitching in the playoffs anyway, and probably not.
Unless
a whole
you're,
lot in September.
yeah.
You're not using that guy. So, if with the patchwork,
Unless you're Uncle Charlie, who pitches Blanton in Game 4 of the Yankees series, which that's okay. I won't go there. I won't go back there. When Cliff Lee was striking out the world, but go.
I agree. Hey, listen,
Cost us a World Series. I know he's Uncle Charlie. I apologize.
Who lost you that is Cole Hamels. Didn't show up for that World Series after being a stud in 08. But listen, he's going back to 2009 and rehashing. Don't listen.
That was a winnable. That was a winnable World Series for everyone out there. That was winnable. If I was managing, we'd have won that World Series.
If you were managing, you would have been asleep by the
I think
inning.
Charlie was asleep that entire year. We won 103 games. I don't really think it mattered.
Listen,
But anyway, go ahead.
The Phillies make the move. Listen, this is the chance.
Listen. If you're not listening, listen.
Get the center fielder. Let's get in this race. Let's get behind them. 4 in a row. Sixers, Phillies. Let's be positive, right? There are 2 teams right now. The Flyers.
We have a chance.
Mailed it in. The Eagles.
They didn't purposely mail it in, but it happened.
They mailed it in.
We have
you
2.
lose 9-1, 6-2. You're mailing stuff in.
I don't know what happened there. I will have a Flyers.
I don't know enough. We have to bring somebody else to talk
segment.
about the Flyers.
Cam York, who was the Flyers' #1 pick last year, is going to be in the lineup tonight. So if anybody wants to see the future of the Flyers, he will be in the lineup tonight. George doesn't even know that, but that's okay.
That's right. I know more 3 out of the 4 sports.
That's okay. He does know more. What? We got anything else? We got to wrap this up. This is like an 18-minute segment.
He is the worst. Like seriously, the difference between 15 and 18
I'm
minutes.
assuming that you've all checked out at around 12 minutes, but he's still
He's
going.
a jerk.
He's still going.
Because I love talking. You're like, what do you got to do?
We're going to start a
soon?
podcast
What
soon, so we're just going to go all. We're just going to go all on.
All right,
But that's all right.
I love you all.
Love you all.
Hopefully, maybe we're up to 27.
We'll be up to 27 after today. Love yous all.
Cheers.
Sláinte.